So we've like kind of known each other only through Facebook and Stone Fabricators, I guess, Alliance.
Yeah.
And I know I talked to you a couple of years ago when I was working on the Women in Stone Jobs project. Thanks for this chance. Like, I just started a new business. Yeah, you're different though, Steph.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, God made me a man.
You're
decided before he sent me out that slap some titties on there and make it a woman, and it was all programmed a guy. And they only had the biggest set there, so
this is gonna be so fun.
Here we are. Yeah, exactly like your guy.
I have so many questions. I have so many questions, but I guess we can start in two ways.
Yeah.
My first instinct is I wanted to start with it looks like you want to change careers.
You know what? I'm done fighting the fight. I've been kicked so hard. I've been molested, raped. Jesus. I've been extorted. I've had my shop taken away from me. I've had my trucks taken away from me from men. I've been molested by stones, not stone suppliers, but like tool suppliers, like just wrong stuff. And I defend myself and I do the best. And then when I had the fire, I was just like, what is it? Like, I just want to work. And then
I saw your jiggity videos. So people are still trying to.
No, well, that's from a long time ago. Like, I was going through old recordings and I've changed so much. And that's what I dealt with, like on an almost daily basis. And they're like, I'm just like an item, right? And it's just like disgusting. Like, and I'm sure all the girls, in the sales, they have to, deal with all of this too. But like, I'm gross. Like, I'm disgusting.
No, you're not. You're beautiful. Stop. Well, don't. I have to stop you there.
I'm caked in like silt in every crevasse. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to lift it up, there's stone under there. Like, there's my eyebrows. Like when I go like this, like little like quartz falls out of it. Like, it's insane, man. Like, I'm wet in every spot with dust and everything, and it's not good. Like, it's not good.
It's not the good kind of wet.
No. And then like I right now actually, like, so my philosophy right now is like I help absolutely every single fabricator. I specialize in service repair, and like there's very, very few people who can do surface repair. And for some reason, the touch of a woman is the key of surface repair, repairing quartz, anybody can fix granite. Anybody can fix marble. I have guys come through the shop and they look at me and they're like, oh, I can fix this and I can fix that. And I'm like, awesome. I'm here because your boss called me because you guys can't fix quartz, right? And you did this. And a lot of it is like not manufacturer defects. That's how I started in surface repair. And Jim Lang taught me how to fix quartz. I call him the professor. And he got me started. And I paid my way to go out to Virginia to learn from the master himself. That was a long time ago.
Wait a minute, Virginia. I'm in Virginia.
Yeah. Well, I flew in. Yeah, I flew into Baltimore, but I was in
must be in Northern Virginia somewhere.
Yeah. I flew into Baltimore and then I just came across and if I can't think of but it was Surface Links.
Surface Links. I'll look them up. I probably should.
That's where like everybody went. And this was a long time ago. Like
maybe before my time, yeah.
Well, 15 years maybe. Like it was unheard of that anybody could fix quartz. Like it's not possible. And even to this day, like there's guys that say that they can do it, but they can't do it. It's not, you can't. I get it all the time from the manufacturers. You cannot fix quartz. It's impossible. So it's a denied warranty claim. We'll throw another slab at it.
Elaborate for me what you mean by fix, because there's
like
three
cracks.
different qualifications of fixing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what do you think is the stuff that nobody can do that you can do when it comes to fixing quartz?
You know what it was it's all of these like I find most issues is like ghosting and hazing, and I have this weird, you know, it doesn't look shiny over here. There's dull spots, there's a scratch, there's how do you factory finish it? And I don't know,
all the time.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. So
if you fix ghosting, hazing, dull spots,
yeah, chips, cracks, seam lippage, like just and to factory finish, so it looks exactly the same as when it rolled out of the factory, like it should have, instead of the fabricator replacing anything. And so that's what I'm known for in my little niche market over here, is the sweetheart of stone, because I'll help anybody. I don't care what shop it is. And that was like when I first started, like that was like my thing is you know, I'll always help everybody. If someone calls me, the answer is always yes, even before they ask the question.
I love that.
Yeah. And so it's gotten me into quite a predicament of things.
Well, if you always say yes, then
because that's
I guess they're looking for yes. Oh, I know. I mean, my favorite quote last year was I was training with this guy, and it was hard because he's almost, I think he was in his 60s. He had to be 60. I don't know his age, but we were coworkers. And how do you train somebody who's in their 60s, right? But at the same time, like I was mentoring, was trying to help grow his sales portfolio. And, you know, I constantly got the response, well, if I had a set of knockers like yours, I'd sell that container. I'd be selling containers too. And at the time, I didn't really
believe how that is my not benefiting factor.
Exactly. I always wanted to reply to that. Like, if you think that that's what got me to where I am today, you know,
mistaken.
You're very sorely mistaken. Yeah. It's a lot of hard work.
Dedication. It's actually the opposite. It's even worse because you walk in with the set.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in my book that I'm writing, I have like this whole section on expertise, you know, and like what it takes. And a lot of this was written because, you know, when I got started in the business, I mean, I had a lot to learn, and I had to find mentors, and I had to have people, and I had to, like you said, with Jim, you had to find them. You gotta find them, you gotta learn, you gotta study, you gotta absorb, and then you just like keep climbing. Yeah. And the funny thing is that I had just left working for Antolini over in Italy. Yeah, I don't know if
we sell a lot of Antolini.
Yeah. You know, I worked for them as a contractor for almost 4 years. You know, the only reason we really stopped the relationship was because COVID, you know, and I was kind of like wanting to sell, so I ended up going to work with Triton. But I had just left working for the most famous,
God, that would kill me, eh?
Marble company in the world.
Yeah.
And I walk into this shop in Northern Virginia, and the guy, I introduced myself, I hand my card, and the guy looks at me and he says something in Turkish to somebody over in the corner, and the guy comes back with a box of samples, of quartz samples, and the guy throws them at me and he goes, "Great, update these and come back when you do."
Yeah.
And I always think about that story because I'm like, I had to just tuck my pride in, walk out the door. I can't be a smart ass, you know. But what's funny is that 3 years later, they're begging me to find them employees. They were begging me to train their people. They used to buy container after container after container.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I get it, you know, and it takes a lot of resilience, young lady, to find a passion for what you do. But it sounds like you're getting a little burnt out.
Do you know, I after we lost the shop in the fire,
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that because I have that written down. I have
so
you had, but it sounds like from some of
I
the
had two.
you had two. You lost.
Yeah, so
two
the first
shots
one,
back to back.
yeah, the first one, they were literally, it was like back to back. So the first one, I had a silent business partner move himself in, again, older guy. And he moved himself into a place and financially like extorted me. It's weird. There's the kitty.
Yeah, there she is.
And was able to move himself into a position where he seized basically my livelihood, my assets and everything. And I don't know how that happened, even like after all of these years and everything. Went through court and nothing happened. Like it was
You took him to court.
Oh yeah, I took him to court and everything, but he moved himself into such a secure position. He's a Mormon guy, so they understand money and taxes and a lot of things that we don't understand about money. And that kind of is what happened for a couple businesses, even after he was done with me, is he moved in and took away a couple other people's businesses to better himself. And that's kind of his serial behavior. And unfortunately, I was the product of that.
Do you think it was just because I grew up in a legal house, so I probably have a better understanding of contracts than most people simply because I was raised in that. But if you don't have experience with that, was it because like you were presented with like paperwork and opportunities that you didn't understand, or what happened?
Yeah, exactly. And it was right at the time where when my husband had gotten sick with cancer, and we had just come through a year of chemo with him, and he got the remission letter and had left. And so he had just left. He destituted me with the family and the business and everything, which I owned everything anyway. So he was like, well, you'll be fine. Yeah. And I had like 15 projects on the benches, and like I didn't have like a slew of employees or anything. Yeah, I completed it. Like I drove across Canada to get 2 slabs, or it was 2 slabs of, it was some standard granite that just nobody had to complete a project. Because again, I'll never tell my builder no. Like I said yes, and the answer will be yes, I'll deliver it. And I did. Drove across Canada even in the midst of having no money, no anything. Like just everything was seized, everything was locked up, and
so you lost one shot that way. So basically,
so lost one through
misunderstanding, through misunderstanding of paperwork. You mistakenly gave permission for something that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. And so he didn't have control of Silverado stone. I was able to desolute it in time.
Okay.
And he opened up under something else, the Granite Girl.
He opened up under the Granite Girl? Like the name?
Yep. Took my name.
What?
Yeah. And so he took that, and so that's why I'm the Granite Girl Saz. So and then so we rebuilt ourselves, like my new partner and I, we rebuilt ourselves.
Yeah.
We had like a micro preemie baby in the same time, like, and we dealt with that Hercules.
So Diana was born in 2022. So
I had Hercules. Yeah, he was my little 2-pounder.
Hercules first. Right.
Yeah, that was my little 2-pounder. I was lifting a big old island and my water broke and baby came. Oops. I didn't know I was PPROM, because I kept going to the OB. I was like, I don't know, I feel really pregnant. And she's like, no, you're just fat. And I was like, what? I have never, come on. I am like a supermodel. What are you talking about? And anyway, I was like, like, I get it. Like I'm a bigger girl, but like I lift 1,000 pounds. Like, we're gonna present a little bit different, right? Like when you lift, like your body's built a little bit different.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm 5'10". Like I'm a Viking
large
girl.
Yeah. I know. I get it. I'm only 5'7". I'm not quite as tall as you, but we could talk for hours about the insecurity being in the bigger bone side of things.
Anyway, I was PPROM, and she didn't get it. She didn't notice it, right? And so I was gonna have that baby early anyway. Like my water was gonna break regardless if I was lifting or sitting or doing anything. So all the signs were there for early labor, and I went PPROM, And I had my little Hercules, and he's fine. He's totally fine. And we kept moving the business forward, and we built the shop out and set up all the equipment, and we're banging out countertop after countertop, golf clubs, and like all this cool stuff. And it was getting a little bit cold, so I lit the wood burning fire stove, and poof, the whole house, shop, everything gone. And so that, like, we came back from that. We built another.
Hold on. Back up.
Yeah.
Because like you say that, like it, and I'm sure it felt like it happened in 2 seconds. But you literally, like, you lit a stove and it's just.
Yeah, so I lit the stove, and like 3 hours later, like, it had exploded the roof because there was a tiny pea-sized hole in the flue stack, and we were renting the place. And the landlords, so they never checked any of the wood burning items. They never checked any of the gas units or anything like that. And the problem is like they're friends of ours. So I told them, I was like, you don't sue me and I won't sue you because you're going to lose, right? And I said, might be a little bit of hard work for us, but let's try and move forward. I'm a constantly like, if you hit me in the face with a rock, like, I'm going to take the rock and like, that's okay. Let's make something from this. And that's a shitty thing you did, but let's go, right? Like, I'll sticky note that and we'll use that, I'm not going to like, shame you, but like, fuck, man. Like, let's keep moving forward. So I'm a very much moving forward kind of a person. And the SFA was behind my ass so hard.
I read.
If I didn't have the SFA and my community around me, I had people like dropping off boxes of clothes, like everything that I'm still wearing to this day, and everything that I have, these green coffee mugs, this thing right here, this was donated by a lady who like brought it to my house, my new one. I had nothing in my house, and she's like, Harry, you should have this. I was like, this is a good idea. Let's sticky note that you're a good person. And here we are, like 3 years later, we still have all the same items. So I had to, my husband tore it all down with a hammer axe, cleaned it all up, and we just kept moving forward, like literally in the ashes and the rubble. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos, but I used the wood from the house to heat us for 2 years, working through the winter on the pavement of the foundation of my burned down shop. Because
I have some photos, I can include in the blog.
I didn't get anything. I got nothing. And I had, I think with all the donations that came in, was about, I would say $7,000 for everything to rebuild my life with 5 people. So I had $7,000 to start again. And we took it and we immediately hit the ground running. Like, it was like 6 days later after the fire, I delivered the project that we lost in the fire. So I had to buy the slabs and start again. And everyone's like, oh, didn't you have insurance? Oh, I had a $3 million policy. But the problem is it wasn't our fault. Fire was not our fault. The fire was the landlord's fault.
So the insurance doesn't cover it?
Nothing. I got a small rider for my tools, which I had to pay the landlord for one of his cranes that was burnt in the fire.
Saz, you should have sued the shit out of that guy.
No, again, because it's going to be worse for them, like really bad. And I told them, I was like, listen, I've just come through something. I've just spent 2 years in court with the guy who raped me. God. I'm not going to stand in front of another judge and be told that this is my fault. I can't do it. Like, I can't rehash any of it. This is how I get early dementia. Like, I can't do it. And I'm the kind of person where I think I put everything inside and it eats away at me. So I was having like stomach ulcer problems and stuff that I'd never had before.
Yeah.
And it totally changed like the person that I was. I wasn't like a predator anymore. I was prey. And I was like, I'm done being prey. I'm done. Like, I lived 3 years being a prey. I'm not prey. I'm predator. I need to go back to that.
You need time to recover too.
Yeah. And so immediately after the fire, I knew that I needed a grief period. I used to be a funeral director. So I knew I needed a grief period. And so I enrolled in business school. So I completed a 2-year program in 1 year. Well, I worked myself through the program and the whole emotions of it. And I got a business diploma out of it. So as soon as I finished that, so we kept working at the same time. And then, so this brings us to, like last year, we're putting away. I'm building restaurants. I'm, and it's just like on the burned down foundation of my shop and my house. Like I was picking out like tools still, like steel carbide things and like grinding wheels. I was like, oh my God, this is still good. Let's go. Like no money for gas, no money for hope, like just constantly moving forward up until that energy and everything like that. And a couple really bad business deals kind of caught me in like, I had like no gas, literally. I had no gas in my truck. I had no gas in me. I had no fuel in Ray. Like, and this is after having Diana and everything. Like cause I worked till the day before I had Diana. And then I was back at work about 3 weeks later after a C-section.
That's about when I started following you.
Yeah. So, and that's like totally normal for me. And like, if I do get pregnant again, like I will show up fully pregnant and I will show up right after I have the baby. And like, that's what I do. That's what I do. I help every fabricator. I never have a shitty excuse. I'm always going to show up. I'm always going to say yes. I'm always going to get the job done. And it's always going to be with a smile on my face. The answer is always yes. Yeah. So here we are, just like, it was like 2 months ago. I was like, we have no money. We have customers who are not going to pay us. Like, what are we going to do? And I was like, painting, we'll start painting. We'll do painting. Oh my God, we'll do anything. Right. Like, because, and the reason for it, and I didn't post anything because I have a feeling this is the guy who extorted us, and like, the EPO is up on him, and my truck has been, my granite truck, which is very clear, like, the Granite Girls truck, is being like ransacked and broken into and drained of gas. And it's just like every 2 weeks I'm being hit and I'm being hit and I'm being hit. And so he's trying to hit me and hurt me where, I can't leave my truck unlocked on a job site. He's going to get into it. He put a tracking device on me, like just a bunch of things that not a lot of people would understand. And I don't communicate these things because it sounds mental. But this is what women deal with. This is totally, and we have to go like, oh, please, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Like, like we have to be beautiful and we have to be mentally stable. And I always get asked, like, how's your mental health? My mental health? It's awesome. Oh my God. My mental health has been completely sound. Because don't ever tell anyone that you're like struggling. Do not, like, again, predator and prey. I'm not prey. I was prey for 3 years and that got me nowhere. And so I recently, like, the guy who fired me out of his shop when I was his sales girl, in 2009, because he didn't understand, I think, me as a person. And he thought that I was working for someone else. And I was like, no, I'm giving you enough work that you can handle, because he was brand new in his own shop. And he's like, no, I need to fire you because I think you're working for someone else. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm working for you. And that's when I went and met Jim. And I flew out to Jim to learn surface repair. And I was like, that was 2012. I said, and I'm not working for anyone else. I said, I have something that I'm going to tell you in good time that's going to be an asset to you and your company, but you need to just trust me. I said, it's Friday, you're irate, you need to take your calm down medicines or whatever it is. And I said, we'll talk to you on Monday. And like, yeah, and you can hit me in the face with a rock. And I'll be like, cool, awesome. Wasn't expecting that, but we'll move forward from it. And he was like, no, I'm not going to move forward from it. You need to go. And I was like, okay, awesome. That same guy, I'm now working his shop and running his shop as his journeyman fabricator. So for the last 3 weeks, I've been in his shop because his guys cannot produce. And he's been hiring me for years to help him out.
Yeah. Or like sub.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys will use our shop to sub out work because we can just do it fast, efficiently, and very, very good. We're very good. When I say I'm going to be there, I'm there. And the product is primo because it's made by a woman and Filipino MacGyver. It's nice. And we have, like, I have everything. I have all my equipment. All my equipment's paid in full. I've bought it 3 times in cash, right? Like we don't have any kind of other thing in our household except for like work related stuff. My life is very much work.
Sure.
So fast forward to like 2 weeks ago, I had Troy standing there going like, I underestimated you as like a worker, a person. Like you can do everything. I was like, yeah, I have 2 saws, I have a forklift, I have everything. Like I have, and he's like, but you can produce. And I was like, yeah, I can produce. I didn't say I can produce, but I produce. And he hires me at a certain rate to just come in and basically get the projects out. And he said, what if you work for me full time? I was like, yeah, I've been kind of telling you that for like 6 years now. Like, but you get me in your shop, you get ahead, and then you let me, you don't call me back, right? You get another guy in there, and he's got a Ukrainian guy.
You think he gets intimidated? I mean,
no, I don't know what it is. I think because he knows like I do my own thing. And so he thinks I have all of this money and all of this work. And I was like, I do not. Do you know how hard it is? I support everyone in this household and my partner's family because we're a mixed family.
Yes. And that's that's the normal Filipino.
Yep.
I mean, excuse I'm not trying to be.
No, I know.
But a lot of people don't know that in Filipino culture, the woman does the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's traditional. That's like the way it is, especially if you're in the Philippines. Like the men stay at home, the women go to work. Yeah.
So Mr. Ray, so him and I were born like 9 days apart from each other, so we're like the exact same thread.
Okay.
It's crazy because like he's very much like, oh yeah, no problem, in like very smiley guy, and he was actually the mechanic in my shop, the first shop. He was the mechanic, and so we ran off and fell in love through all of this like tumultuous shit. Somehow we had like a fairy tale ending through all of this like chaos and everything. We always laugh about it because like just nothing phases us. There's nothing that anybody could come at us that would side rail us. It's totally impossible.
Well, why not?
You can take everything away and we'll still find a fish and still find love, and I don't know. And so we started a business for him. And again, like that was back in November. So he owns Recon Tools, and I'm helping him with the whole business end of it. Because again, I went through school for it, and that's kind of like my niche is business. And so he's doing well in his endeavor, and he's riding 7 days a week and taking care of babies and doing this small engine repair and everything. Yeah. And so right now we've got Silverado Stone as like a kind of like a secondary wave of business. Everything that comes in, we do in the in-between, because we can rock out a lot in a very little time. And then he runs his business, which is Recon Tools, doing the small engine repair. And then I'm on my own as the Granite Girl, Saz, doing fabrication and surface repair and running a shop. So I'm juggling those things as well as motherhood on top of it. So like I'll breastfeed, like I'll run home, breastfeed, and then go back to the shop. My boss is like, cool, how was lunch? I'm like, awesome. Like I am lunch. I fed lunch to the baby. As I walk in, I'm like, fueled and ready to go, boss. And right now we've got a Ukrainian guy in the shop that he hired, and who speaks zero English. Zero. I speak Polish and Russian. So like Ukrainian is like a bastardized form of Polish and Russian put together. And so so every day is like, oh God, I'm like on the war front. Like I'm literally Zelensky, like trying to communicate with this guy.
Broken Polish and Russian, trying to communicate with a Ukrainian. Sounds amazing.
I'm teaching him sinks yesterday. And, my first husband was Polish, right? And when I was teaching him sinks yesterday, he's like, why do you do like this? Why don't you do like this? It's way faster to do. And I was like, listen, I've been doing it for 17 years. So, I don't know what to tell you, but this is the way I know. And this is the way that I'm going to teach you. And then you take that and you go forward from there.
You can do whatever you want and experiment, but this is the way it's done.
This is what I know. And I said, and he's like, yeah, but like, it's beautiful what you do, but it takes so long. And I was like, I've timed myself. I'm one of the fastest in the industry. Mm-hmm. I've been in the SFA cage against other guys at the convention center. I'm not slow. And then, so I was like, here, do 800. Took him 45 minutes and he hurt his back doing it and everything. And I was like, You know how long that took you? It took you 28 minutes to polish the rim of the thing.
The inside.
I could have done a whole entire sink, like mark it, cut it, shape it, polish it in that time. I was like, who's fast now? And I was like, that's what I don't miss about Eastern Europeans. They always back in Europe, it's like this, I don't care, man. I've been there. It's not good. That's why you're here. So well, yeah, he hired this guy.
I'm curious. So like you're in Calgary,
mm-hmm.
and you've been in Calgary your whole life?
My whole life.
So, I mean, obviously, like relocating or taking the Granite Girl and like going anywhere else is off the table.
I think like, no, you know what's great about the whole entire Granite Girl thing? That can go anywhere in the world. Sure. I bought an airplane. Yeah, I bought an airplane ticket to Australia when I was like in 2018 when everything fell apart the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a ticket to Australia with that plan. Literally, I was like going to hit the ground running because I have friends everywhere. But everybody knows this, the blonde hair, the boobs, and the stone. Like that's it, right? Like they know that. They know that. They may not know like my face, but they know the polish. That's deal. Like everybody knows it. Cut the fucking sink. Like if anyone fabricates, like they know that. And I can go anywhere in the world. Like I can go to Turkey, I can go to Ireland, I can go. That's what's great. Like, I mean, like I want to find like more women because of that, because of what I've created, this persona.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like a catchy kind of a thing. And then the way that I look, you know, and the way that I can communicate and come across to people. I wish that I could just go into high schools and be like, hey, so if you're thinking of becoming a welder, don't, because that's stupid. There's like a million welders, but there's nobody in stone. So you should do that. And then you should ask them for top rate. Why? Because you have these. Let's go. like, let's go. Because there's so many women that are like, I can't lift. I'm like, no, man, gravity is your friend.
Yes,
who cares about lifting? That's why we have cranes and clamps and help, and you get strong. You get
now
strong.
we have no lift machines, which like
we have no lift machine. You know what? Ray, Mr. Filipino MacGyver, I watched he watched a couple of those videos, and I was like, how much steel do you need? I buy you a welding machine. Let's go. And he built one. That thing is cool.
They're not cheap. They're not cheap.
$12,000 American.
I mean, I've heard better, but maybe that's a different style. I don't know.
Shipping in Canada.
I was gonna say, I think that's really high, but that's
like $4,500 just to get it here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, the great thing is about the persona and the shop and anything is like you could literally relocate anywhere in the world with and you know what the thing is if you have the mindset of the answer is always yes.
No, I know, but I feel like you have this winning combination if like your specialty is in that repair. Like these big, you know, I used to work for Cosentino. I was a Silestone girl for a long time. You know, a big company like that should come in and swoop you up. And,
so I call
have you I spend about fabricators.
Yeah, so I spend about an hour every month out of my schedule. I make a list of about 6 companies and organizations, and I'll contact them and I'll offer them surface repair. And I don't go in with brochures or anything like that. I go in as a human being. Mm-hmm. And the answer, just like, you know, you would understand from pushing quartz is go away. Nobody can fix quartz. We're not interested. It's impossible. Get out of here. We don't want that problem. And I'm like, cool, awesome. But I put the seed in their head and eventually it grows and it grows and it grows. I've never marketed it because of, I think, the past, my loyalty to Jim. So Jim hosts classes.
He does.
He used to. And you would have to pay Jim to learn surface repair. And now that Grand Quartz has purchased up Regent Stone Supplies and basically Jim, I'm not too sure where the legalities of that are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm very cautious to, I think, use that as like a this is what I do. It's kind of like a need to know basis, which is like.
Are you okay with me sharing this with the world?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I think now, like looking at it now, and like every single house that's getting done has a quartz component. And so I have a whole entire community out here in Calgary who's basically getting serviced with repairs and all of their like damages like fixed and everything. And like you would not believe the mental that goes along with this. Oh my God, I thought like my countertops were garbage, and like you, oh my God, you saved them, and I did this, and I just can't, like, where, like, how would I have even known it was you? I didn't know, like, I had 16 companies tell me no, and I was like, I know. I spend an hour every month just marketing it and trying to spread the word, but it's fallen on deaf ears.
Have you, well, I just became a new member of IFSPA. I don't know what their thing is with in Canada. I'm not sure if they're like a Canadian. I'm assuming it's North America, but it's the, they're really into quartz, right? So they have Natural Stone Institute. I've been a member with them for years and years and years, and speaker. But then you have IFSPA, which is really based on solid surface, now engineered stones, and of course the emergence of all the porcelains in the world. I feel like we should make some friends over there at that organization, because you could do a lot at some of their fabricator forums and things like that. So I don't know, Saz, maybe it's time for you to say yes to you a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely like looking at my bank account, like right now. Yeah, it's a hand to mouth. Like every day, and by hand to mouth, I mean, like I've got $2.06 to my name. That's what I have right now this morning until, money comes in. Like there's work, but it's not the right kind of work that I'm getting. Right. And it's hard. And so I have these like these big visions, and you can't move forward when you can't even buy like a jug of milk, and so it's hard. I don't know why I've been given this life, but I just need to figure out how to make it better, and making better decisions, right? So we don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't have anything else except for our children and our work. And I think it's just making better decisions, and I wish I had made better decisions when I was younger, when I had, that bank account that was cushioned. It was nice. Like I had projects coming in, I had, stability and stuff like that. And I miss those times, and I definitely took a lot of it for granted. But it'll get better.
Yeah.
And I think stuff like this is like steps in getting better. People like you.
I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you any way that I can. And
we would appreciate building that.
It's nothing less. Like, we'll see what we can build off of this and off of the story that I can put together for you. And then at the same time, I mean, I literally am building a business on sales training. Now, in your case, like you're not in a position to hire anybody, but I talk a lot about business development skills, and maybe there'll be an opportunity for me to come out and hang out in Canada and see if I can't help give you some structural ideas, or figure out a way to help with your marketing, and see if I can't give you some other stuff to help.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's definitely your digital footprint, and like putting the right materials out there that will carry your reputation and build that. Oh, this is the person that you hire for this. Oh, this is it's the yes for this. This is the number you call. This is, yes, it's possible. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And I might be able
putting
to,
that together.
I
think
very well might be able to help you on the marketing side.
Yeah.
But you know, we could work something out pro bono or whatever based on what happens. But this is awesome. So I mean, like if you want to sum it up, like if you sound like you're getting into the painting, but if
No, it didn't, that puttered out. That literally.
Oh,
That
really?
was a wash. I painted like a giant peanut factory. I did a couple like amazing little jobs and stuff like that. And it puttered out. I was like,
Well,
you know what?
You might be able to do it like once in a while.
Yeah, the painting thing, like, you know, when I'm behind the grinding wheel and I'm marking sinks and I'm making stone, like when I'm in my shop, when I'm in any shop, I don't care what shop it is, when I'm fabricating and I'm ripping slabs and I am the happiest person. I was like, oh my God, like this is like, I love painting. I love it. I like, and I was just like, that's the kind of person that I am. I was embalming. I remember years ago I was embalming and I would do like 6 bodies in a night and I'm massaging and like, you know, cutting and suturing. I was like, oh God, I love my job. And I was like, oh my God, I have no headphones at work right now. And so I'm in my thoughts and I've come up with like some amazing stuff. And I've collected a lot of debts because of it. Like, and I'm getting angry at people who have like not paid and hired me out. Right.
Yeah.
Because all my bills are behind. So I pay my bills. That's why I have $2 is because I paid my bills. But
I hear you, sister. I hear you.
Yeah. I'm with my thoughts and I think what I've come up with the last like 2 weeks is like, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do. When I sink my hands into it, like I'm in it, whatever it is, like I think, again, that's the predator part of me. You know, I need to satisfy like a job. I need to satisfy the wants of the customer, the wants of like the person who's hired me, whoever that is in whatever position, whether it's like fixing things or like replumbing a toilet or like repainting a house or a freaking peanut factory. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like when I sink my hands into it, like I love what I do. I absolutely love it. Like whatever that cause is, like, we were teaching high school students how to do granite essentially. Cause I was like, up here in Alberta, there's 4.5 million people. That's it. That's what we have. And all of them need to work because living off the government doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't do anything for that person. It's a waste of a life. Doesn't do anything for our economy. And this is such an underrated trade that I wish was regulated. I wish that we were a blue book trade where you had to go to school for it and you got paid those journeyman wages. I wish it was regulated for the safety, so that, you know, people are not doing crazy, insane things, and that it was more regulated so that us as a trade were paid better. And for the customer, right? So that these and I don't want to say like an ethnic shop, but these shitty shops that are popping up here and popping up there and just ruining this industry would just not be able to compete, right? Like for $25 a square foot, right? You know, and the safety of it, right? Like I wish we were regulated, and I think it starts in the high schools. And I think coming across from, you know, a guy coming into the school and talking with young teens doesn't convey the right message of you can do it. It's definitely, I've gotten a positive response when I went to the small towns in Alberta and came to the high schools with my truck and my granite. And I was like, hi, this is shop class. You're learning welding. You need to learn stone. Here's some Akitas. Let's go. And, you know, yeah, because I can't do it in the city, but I can do it in the small towns because Alberta's like Texas. It's very much Texas. We are the Texas of Canada.
Absolutely. Because you got the oil and the gas too. All of it.
Yeah, the cowboy tuxedos and the cowboy hats.
Like,
yeah, that's us. And the beef.
You're
and
like the middle. That part of Canada is pretty much like the middle part of like Montana down to Texas.
Yes, like we all match. If you just go like all the way down through Colorado and Utah and everything, that is like we are one ethnicity. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful, man. And so that's what I did years ago. And I would love to do that again, to like open it up and create the next generation and possibly make this like a regulated industry. And when I started, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, that's the vision. Like, that's 100% like where we need to go. But like, how do I do that? And I was like, man, I want to be like the professor of the granite school. Like, I want to be, but like, how do I do it? Well, it's going to start with 15 years of pure dedication and learning the trade inside and out. And unfortunately, that means getting kicked in the teeth a lot.
Oh, look who it is.
That's Hercules.
Hi, H. What you doing, buddy? Oh, it's another granite girl.
This is my boy.
Yeah, he's so
Yeah.
handsome.
And this is a granite lady. Is it my car?
I'm Miss Allie. I'm Miss Allie. Hi.
Yeah, hi, Allie. Hi, Allie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my hashtag is Stone Girls Rock.
I love that.
No, I gotta tell you, like, when I got the vision to start Rep Methods, like this business that I built, I told my boss, right, the owner of Triton, she's a woman in the business, and Katie, she's always been super supportive of all women in the trades, and I told her, because I got this message from God, right? And a lot of people get really weird if you start talking about God. They get really uncomfortable. But he came to me, and I say he, but it came to me in a dream. And
it's a he to me. I don't know, like
it's still a he to me, but I'll talk about, like, I feel like it's more of an it. Sometimes it takes the form of a he, but sometimes I feel like my God's in the trees or in the wind, and I feel like it changes constantly. But the he version I call Geody. So Geody and I talk on a regular basis, and Geody told me that when I get some success behind my projects and I'm educating and I'm doing all of that, I have to go back to my hometown and build a school for granite.
Yes.
So it's so funny that if
you do it, I will be your #1 supporter, because I'm doing that here. I swear. Like, there's going to be a school,
but I don't know. I don't know how.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Because if you have the vision, because I had it in the pit of my stomach when the last time I saw someone's head crushed with a slab, and he was a shop owner's dad. And I was like, you know what? That's enough. That's enough. I watched the guy at Caesarstone die. I watched it happen. And when you watch someone crushed and killed in half, and he was like 24 years old, this Mexican guy that started at Caesarstone, I was like, that's it. This, like, something needs to change. I'm watching guys on the other end of his cigarette fabricating dust everywhere. Please put a mask on. I fabricate dry. I'm caked in dust. I have a mask. I have a respirator. I have the best respirator that you could buy.
Because you also have children and you would like to see them graduate high school.
Like, I want to be a babcha of 80. Like, I want to be 80 years old and have all of these, like, grandkids, just like what my babcha is. She has all these grandkids and these beautiful, big, giant family. And that's what I want to be, is like this big, strong, Canadian fucking stone woman. Fuck, man.
Granite mom. Yeah.
Like, I want to be, and I want to, like, in my life and, like, everything what's happened to me, whether it's good or bad, like, I want, like, everyone to be like, oh, that's because everyone knows me as the sweetheart and stone, right? Like, that girl who does granite, the granite girl, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Like, you got to run with that, man. If you don't do something, you have wasted your opportunity. What God gave you, you have wasted it.
I know.
I did not come here to this planet to do this.
Yeah, no
shit. I'm not. I came to this planet to do something. I don't know what, but I think that's it. If you start one, I am your #1 professor. I will stand behind you.
I don't know how it's going to happen. And I was thinking, like, and I don't think I'm supposed to start it even, but, like, I know, because I'm they call me, I'm like the mouth of the South, right? Yeah. So you're the sweetheart. I'm the mouth. Right? Like, the whole,
we're going to find someone and it'll put it together. It'll be like, hey, I build schools.
Exactly. So I think God put me on the earth to be this, like, this mouth. And I typically, like, piss some people off, and I make some.
Me too, man.
And, like,
I piss off the wives. I had a wife come to me and, like, yell at me because I was, looking the way that I was or whatever. And I was like grinding away at stone. And I was like, and you're worried about me with what and your husband?
I know. I don't know how, but like I grew up in Appalachia. It's probably not the same as Calgary. I don't know what area. It would probably
no, it definitely looks the same. It definitely like the foothills.
It's the foothills.
It's the same. You just have more beautiful trees and like a nicer climate. And we
don't have oil and gas. But
you have more beautiful trees and like the landscape. Like, the oil and gas thing, like, I mean, I've never been in oil and gas myself.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, that's a topic for another day. That's a whole
I think well, but okay, so but the good news is we both want to work in a school, right?
Yeah.
I love educating as well. I love stone. I love quartz. It's fine. I'm a little over it, but I love natural stone. Like I'm really, really into it. The years that I spent working around Italy, and my next journey is like I got to get to Turkey because I think Turkey is really the root of stone culture too. Between Brazil, Italy, and Turkey, these three countries are the reason that our industry is what it is today.
I have guys all the time asking me when I'm coming to Turkey.
Yeah, me too.
You come to my shop.
Yeah.
You come, you talk to all the men. And I'm like, oh my God. Yes. Okay.
Well, NSI gave me a mentee in Turkey this year, and you should definitely be a mentor. I don't think you have time, but you should. You
know what? There's always time. It might be in like a telephone call, like in the shop, and but there's always time. There's always time for education.
No kidding. I know. I don't know.
If I had someone to talk to 15 years ago, when I was crying and cutting sinks, like crying and polishing sinks, like, and I'm like, what am I doing in my life? And like, deliver the project, mount the sink, and the customer, like, you want to tell them, like, I cried the whole time that I polished your sink. Like, are you on the road yet? Are you on the road yet? Are you on the road yet? Because like the contractor you hired is a total prick. Like, I would get dick pics, and I'm like, I don't need a dick pic. I need a fucking paycheck, you idiot. Like, what? It's just like, why do I have this? I have a special folder on my computer, and it's gone in the fire now. But like, and it was just all of the dick pics that my coworker Stacy and I used to get. We'd send them to each other, like, look at this one, like an unwarranted dick pic. Like, why is that a thing? Like, unbelievable. That's the shit that we deal with. Yeah, I had at one point I had 3 women in my shop. Yeah.
Where are they now? What are they doing?
After the fire, they went into contracting themselves, and then now that was really hard to do the contracting because Stacy doesn't have a business mind. So, and she doesn't like ask for enough money for what she does. She doesn't.
I'm gonna say, do you ask for enough money, young lady?
I sure do now that I have a Filipino husband behind me and going like, what are you doing? Why are you giving it away for free? Like, what are you doing? No, charge for that. He's really good.
Away. Stop saying yes without like more dollars.
Yeah. My new partner's really good about like, no, you asked for this. No, it's this much money. Yeah. It's been hard, but like, imagine like I had to buy back equipment, like $250,000. Like, how do you come up with that? Cash, hard work, and like a really good scheme. And like, we bought it all back, and I have it, and it's all sitting there. And everyone always asks me, can I come and use your shop? I'm like, yeah, no, no, I'm good. It can sit there until I'm ready to stoke that fire again. Like, it can sit there. When I have my women back, that's not costing me anything to have that. It's already paid for. I don't let men walk all over me and use my shop. Like, I to heck with that. Like, I was like, if you have like an XY chromosome, you can come and use my shop. But if you don't, you can't. Like, it's no. I've been in court for it, like only hiring women. I actually got in trouble for it.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently I had a guy come and do an interview in my shop. He couldn't lift. And I was like, all right, well, you can't work here if you can't lift. Because the test is to lift a piece with one of the girls.
Yeah.
And it's not like a big piece. It's just that's the test, right? And if you struggle and like you can't lift it and it's not safe, you can't work here, right? Because that's what you're going to be doing day in and day out.
Day in and day out.
And our company uniform is a pink dress.
Oh.
And he was like, I'm not wearing that. And I was like, cool, you don't work here.
And
anyway, he went to the labor board over it. And so I had to stand in the court of law and basically answer as to why it is that I don't hire men. And you know what my response was? This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Men rape women.
I'm sure the judge did not love that, Saz.
No, that was a really hard one to get over. I was like, that's a fact, though. And I have a shop of 3 women. And if they do not feel safe working in a shop with a man, I cannot have a man there because my shop is run by women. So, and I said, and our company uniform is a dress. And I had to present the whole entire like outfit line. And all of us had to install in dresses for like 2 months. It was hilarious. Like, why are you guys wearing dresses? And I was like, number one, we're girls. And these are our company uniforms. Ridiculous, right? Work boots and a dress, like silicone over dresses. Like, oh God. It was worth it.
I mean, I guess it's, you're using what you have to your advantage.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a selling factor for a long time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we didn't even get a chance to get into like, little Diana Bug, and she's doing
my little Diana bunny. Yeah, that's my future granite girl.
Your future granite girl.
Yeah.
She's healthy now.
Oh yeah, she's adorable. Hold on. Hey, Daddy.
Yeah.
Can I see Diana? Diana. Hi, Bun.
Let's say hi. Oh, there she is. Hey.
This is my chunk.
I'm Miss Allie, Diana. Hello. I've been watching you since you got born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my hairdo.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's like the Bam Bam. It's like
the
Oh.
Yeah, so much hair. Hey, Diana. Thankfully she we were in the hospital.
I remember. Now that's the one that I was like, I was watching every day. I was checking in. I was making sure.
Changing a house, and I was like sleeping in an upright position. Worth it, worth it. Because again, it was like Christmas time, and we were asked before, like, can you paint this house, like ceilings and everything? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And then she fell into the hospital, and I don't flake out. And like this customer's used us before, and they're also like the chief firefighter of the small town just south of us.
Okay.
And we're strong in the firefighter community now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody kind of knows us because of, they're all interconnected and friends and stuff. So we get a lot of calls from firefighters to like do their and stuff.
Good.
And anyway, we got that project done regardless that she was in the hospital, which shows like our integrity. Oh, thank you, Daddy. And when we were leaving the hospital, another baby had lost its life as I was walking down the hallway to the same thing. So, it was extremely serious, and we were on the upper end of it. Like I was watching this baby go down and down and down. And the pustulating eyes and everything like that. Like it was serious. It was really bad for a lot of people here in Alberta. And I don't know where else it went, but our,
well, obviously I don't have any babies other than I have fur children. I have a cat, but my best friend has 3. My other best friend has 2 grown, but my best friend that has 3, her youngest one was just born in August. And, and then she has a 2-year-old that is turning, Sawyer's turning 3 in 3 days. So
yeah, she had her kids at the same time that I did.
Exactly.
She literally
exact timeline as you. Yeah. And I just remember a lot of my friends from North Carolina up into Boston were talking about RSV and it being it was crazy. It was almost like this mini COVID.
That I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was targeted at our babies. Like it was targeted at our children.
Well, I mean, obviously, like the disease or whatever, RSV, like I had never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Until then, because I'm not a mom, but at the same time, like it
I
did
never heard
seem
of
like
it
it
either.
was running rampant. And then there was just a lot of babies like going into the hospital, and it's apparently been around for years and years and
Yeah.
years. This is not the first rodeo, but it just kind of like came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it until literally like I was on Ask Calgary, like going like something's wrong with my baby. Like I don't know if this is just a cold. Like should I go to the hospital? And then she went blue and stopped breathing. And like I was driving, as I was like going into emerge, she was coding. Like she was basically like she was taking her last breaths as she vomited, and that was it. Like she was going blue, and like she was dying in my arms when I was like in the line, and someone was yelling at me that I had to wait in line.
You're like,
if I had another arm, I would have punched her in the face. Like, I shoved her out of my way and like I ran into triage, and she's all blue. Like that was insane. I was like, oh my God. Like because my mom is like got a brain tumor and she's super doolally taught. Like she's not with it. And she was gonna sit at home with the baby. And I was looking at the baby and I was like, I gotta go to work. But like, is that baby blue? Like she's blue around her mouth. And mom's like, oh no, she'll be okay. And like if I had have left, I wouldn't have a baby. I'd have a dead baby. Yeah. So like, again, that whole like GOD thing, it was like oh my God. Like, and it was like, you need to stay. Like you need, and I had customers like calling me, texting me, like, you need to be here. You need to be here. And I was like, are you dying? Like, oh my God, you're dying. And I threw her in the car and literally like, by myself swinging to the hospital, and like she was coding in my arms. Like I was like looking right at her face and she was like leaving. So yeah, that was good to like come out of that after, that was just like a week stay or a week and a half, something like that. But she bounced back, and then it took like 3 months for her to actually like put on weight, because she was not the same after that. But now she's just a chonk.
She looks good.
Good. I'm a happy mom.
She looks good.
I need that for muscle development and brain development so that she can be something like, better than me.
Yeah.
So
this is great.
Use it to your advantage. Write something good.
I will.
I'm
pretty good at putting some stuff together, but what I would love from you is just to pop a few that share folder that I gave you.
I'll pop some material in there for you.
Pop some photos in there. Just pop some stuff in there so I can work on it. And then I will obviously send you a copy before. I publish, and this will probably be a little side video blog at the end of it if people want to watch the interview, because I think this is gold. I think that women in our business should have more conversations like this, and I love the realness of it, because I am also tired of like kind of the bullshit, and it's really great. It feels freeing to talk about some of the situations with you. So it's great.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I'm a very like hit the ground moving kind of a person.
Me too. I mean, I have been called rogue. Many people just call me like rogue, which is why I should be in my own, business anyway, because it's just probably better that way. I won't upset anybody in the process.
Yeah. I always say, like, I always get fired. I've worked at so many shops, and it's always like a Friday at like freaking 9 or 11 or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, awesome, don't come back. And I'm like, what? Because I just like, I don't know, because I say too many things, or like I don't want to say like, oh, you outwork all the guys or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. I think it's just because I just say like how, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what it is. I haven't figured it out. Like, why is it that like I just don't get far? Like, I should almost say that in a job interview. Like, awesome. So one day you're gonna fire me. Like, for like my personality or something. Like, I just have to work for myself because I just always get fired. And and they like come up with like the dumbest thing, like the dumbest shit. Like, the one guy was just like, I just don't fucking like you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, it never said in the job application that you have to love me, but like, do I earn you money? Like, what is it? Like,
Do I
I
do
was like,
good work? Are your
don't-
customers happy?
yeah, cause always, I've never had any problems. Like, I think I listen way too much to the customer, and like, I'll go back on my own time. That's why I know how to do all of this stuff, because I worked in like a Chinese shop, and I would get the calls as like their salesperson, like the guys didn't do this and the guys didn't do that, and I thought I was getting this, and I'm like, awesome, I'm gonna be there after I'm done my shift here, and I'll figure it out. And I'm like in the back, like taking a Corbett and like taking a Makita, and I'm like, well, how do I do this? They need another whole cord, and I'm on the I'm googling like how to core a hole, and I was like, cool, got it. Watching the guys in the back coring holes, and I was like, I can do this. I think the one time I did it without a vacuum, because I didn't know you got to bring a vacuum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was like across the surface of the stone. The customer's like, is that normal? I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. It's okay. You won't see it. It'll be covered, like, man. Oh God.
Okay. Well, let's clarify that this was probably like 2010,
9,
very early.
2009, 2009.
2009.
Yeah, I came out of the funeral home. Basically, I was working at the funeral home at nighttime, just embalming, and I was doing stonework in the day, and just like a receptionist and stuff like that. And like that's how I learned how to do everything, because just customers are like, this is wrong and that's wrong, and I'm like, let's figure it out. Let's get that done for you. There's a chip, I'll come and fill it. I have no idea how to do it, and I'm googling how to fill a chip. Like,
Yeah, fill chip kits did not exist.
they did
Now
not.
you just like pick up the right thing and like and then
Yeah, all the things I learned so many things. Last week I spent like the evenings like polishing cemetery stones, because there's some Italian guys that are going around doing chip fills and stuff like that, which is not the right way of like doing external, like
exterior. You're saying exterior.
Yeah, you gotta like grind it down and like repolish it and do all that stuff, and like,
yeah, because the adhesive won't last with the freeze thaw ratio in Canada.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. -50 +50 doesn't work. So you got to cup it, grind it, and get over it. And so I'm like carving like cemetery stones, and like I'm like, well, like this is the life that I'm at, man. Like this is like this takes me the strangest places. But like, and the guy was like, there's nobody like you, and I was like, that's impossible. What? I've been to China. I've seen there's like thousands of women like in China working, and he's like, yeah, but here nobody does this, like just this stuff that you're doing. And I was like, what? Well, we gotta solve that problem, like make more of me. Like there's gotta be someone else. There has to be.
We gotta be more of you.
Yeah. Like there's a chick in Texas, Dorothy Money Gomez.
Yeah, no, I met her. I got to meet her.
She's amazing, and she's like the younger version of me. Like she hasn't been kicked hard enough yet.
She's next.
She's my girl. Like she's the one who's like crying polishing sinks, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I was 27 once too. Yeah, I remember that. Like, why is everyone so mean? Like, but you still show up. And I was like, DJ, you are me from like 10 years ago. And I was like, oh, I hope it gets better for you.
Yeah, I met her. We had a round table in Orlando at Coverings.
Yeah.
And I got to meet her in person because we're also friends on Facebook, and like the whole follow, everybody follows each other. So, but I think she's next.
She's my Texas Saz. Like I'm her Canadian Dorothy. That's my nickname is Dorothy, because I always come home. I always, like, I could be in like Northwest Territories, and I will drive 37 hours back home, like straight, like just to come home. I'm the Dorothy. Like, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, God put you there in Texas, which is like Alberta is Texas. And I was like, girl, we gotta connect internationally somehow. Like, we gotta, like, she's moving to Florida, I guess. She's moving to Orlando.
I'm gonna have to get you out of Canada too. I know.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have like a little, like, at that SF at the coverings or something like that, or surfaces.
It was at Surfaces. Yeah, I went to the party like for like 15 minutes. I gotta be honest with you, like I met the heads of SFA. I really would like to. In fact, it's really funny, but look at what's like right here is an envelope addressed to the SFA, and I just need to put a check in it for $5,000, which I don't have. But you know, I will. And like I put this out because
Why do you need to pay $5,000?
well, because I'm not a fabricator and I want to be an ambassador of SFA because like all of the work, you can't see it here, but this is my my vision board.
Yeah. Good girl.
It looks all crazy. But I have, you know, I got a big old vision, and eventually it's just not ready yet, but there will come a time when I want to be like an ambassador of the SFA, because fabricators were always meant to be my main customer. The reason I started this business is because guys were always telling me, my fabricator customers were like, I wish I could have salespeople like you. I wanted you to train all my salespeople. So I'm writing a book so that salespeople can learn, and you know, owners or whatever. And I hope it works. But there will be a workshop. I went to the one at Tice and I was feeling like shit. I was so scared. I had been in business for myself for like 3 days. And I think I was PMSing like crazy. And then there was just like so much alcohol flowing, and I don't drink, I'm sober. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go rest. I can't even hang out. And the guys were like, Todd, I think it was Todd. He was like, what, you're leaving already? And I had talked to him, you know, about what I had going on. And I was so embarrassed, but I was like, yeah, man, I just gotta go. And it sucks, but at the same time, you know, you got to take care of that head space.
Yeah. You know, when I have to do events, I always take Stacy with me as my co-pilot. So we like stick stickers on her head with her name, and we're like, hi, I'm Sass, that's Stacy. What's up?
Yeah.
Because I don't want you looking here. Right when there.
When you're rolling by yourself,
it's really hard. You need a co-pilot, to navigate everything. Because when you walk in, like I think when you walk in as a woman, any like you know, and especially, and that's why I don't go to any of these events. I'm not a like. It would be so hard to like be the only chick. Because I see him at the shops, like there's one girl and you could pick her out. Like she looks so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, who's like, do you actually fabricate? Like, do you actually do anything? Or like, why are you here? And that's what it's like. Don't ask me why I'm here, because you didn't ask any of the guys, right? Do I need testicles to be why it's here? Like, what is that?
You're totally voicing. So like, they had all these bar tables set up, right? And I'm standing there and I'm having my club soda, and I started to make some conversation with, actually, because there was a guy from Missouri at one of the tables, and I actually had done a training in a shop when I was with Antolini. So I was like, okay, this is a warm call, a warm transaction. I'll go over it. Like they were so scared of why I was talking to them. The guys were like, and it was just, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, like a woman can't even have a conversation in this.
No, there's a lot, like, and so I think maybe this is good that you and I are talking, because I'll break those barriers down. Like I'm your medium, I'm your transition, I'm your grit, you know, I'm your 50 grit hammer. Right? How do you polish this with a 50 grit hammer? Then we go 80, 120, and 240. Everybody knows that. Go get the hammers, Allie. You know, break that barrier down, because I'm one of them. It's funny when I'm in the shop and someone also walk in and they see, because I'm under a toque or a babushka or something like that, and I'm behind a respirator, but they can see this and they're like, what's that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Who is it? And my boss will be like, oh, that's the granite girl. Oh, you don't know the granite girl? And, I'm like doing everything. And they're just like, it's shocking. And I get it all the time, or like I'm surface polishing or something. And they're like, what is that? what is that? Where did she come from? And they'll stand there and they'll stare at me. And I'm like, I must be a spectacle. And, with this new modern day, like I do get asked, like, are you trans or something? And I'm like, this is the most amazing. If I'm trans, like my doctor did a great job because I can birth. And like the last time I was like, I had that big pregnant belly and everybody's like, double, what is that? Like, what is that? And I'm like lifting and then posting pictures and they're like, what? Oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Like, you stress me out. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm like,
you got a baby in there. Is that a baby?
Yeah. And I'll show up with my surface repair kit, which is enormous, and this giant pregnant belly. And they're like, you're going to fix my what? And I'm like, your countertops. Hello. Like, you shouldn't be working. I'm like, oh yeah, my doctor said if I'm tired, I should probably take the day off, but I feel great. I had a cup of coffee. Let's go. Like, I feel okay.
You take Rosie the Riveter to like a whole new level.
Whole new level. The whole because I like some days I feel so shitty. I feel so shitty inside, and I struggle like with migraines and stuff. And that's the days I go like excommunicado. And but when I'm pregnant, like I'm probably more strong than when I'm not pregnant. Wow. Like I'm Mother Mary, man. Like, let's go. I'm here to build a new civilization and get some work done. I don't know why I can do it. And the pregnancies are hard. And but I think it's that yes mentality, that mind overrides everything. Making beautiful things for other people and myself at the same time since 1902.
Yeah, I think you deserve your own show. Fuck this.
Nah, let's do it together. It's more fun that way.
It is more fun that way.
You stick it. I'm sad, that's Sally. Let's go. Yeah, I think it would really help both of us and open up the industry, because I think right now the attention that I get is for, it's like a spectacle instead of like an educational. But I'm hoping that maybe there might be like a 20-year-old girl or something in a shop that's like feeling the same thing that I did. And I get messages, like last month I got 2 messages from other ladies in the shop. One's Lacey, and she's running a shop and she's getting undermined. And she's like, how do you deal with it? And I was like, I mean, like Predator says punch him in the balls, like grab him by the testicles. But like Prey says that you need to educate them so that they can hear you, and educate them with silence, right? And that's the best. If someone's undermining you, it is just a form of dysphoria that they're feeling. It's their dysphoria. It's not your dysphoria, right? Like, you are not, the way that you present as a woman shouldn't be your dysphoria for what they see. This is
they're just angry because they feel like you're doing better than them. And
yeah. And the problem is like it creates an unsafe work environment for many things, like for like maybe not asking for the right lift, or maybe not helping us with the right lift, and us possibly getting injured, or possibly having like molestations or stuff like that, because that happens with anger from men. I've been the subject of that. Their dysphoria and their issues are brought onto me because of whatever it is, their traumas they've had in their life. And I've dealt with dicks hanging out in the job site truck, and like I'm holding like a grinder, and I'm like, you really feel safe right now? Like, you have 499 of this? What? You have one, buddy. Like, why are you doing that? I never came here to earn a paycheck and give you a blowjob. Like, I didn't I don't know why you think a cube van's the place to do it. It smells like a skunk in here, but I'm not your girl. Like,
I think the real question is, would you let your dick hang out if it wasn't me?
Like, you doing this with everybody? You going to 7-Eleven and doing this? Like, is this, I didn't know I had to come to collect a paycheck and do this. Like, I didn't realize that was in my job description, because I would have asked for a perk, if I had to be the subject of this. And I didn't have that in the funeral home. but I have that substantially here. And, you know, in the funeral home, we're treated as equals, if not superiors, being a woman in a funeral home. And so that was a shocking revelation coming over to this trade, that kind of gender dysphoria. It's insane, if that's even the right word for it. You know, but I wish we could use our attributes as like an upgain, an upsell.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like God put me that way so that I could break those barriers down, even if for just one girl, one woman. If one woman in this industry sees, if Saz can do it, then I can do it. And DJ was definitely I know she was doing stone before she even knew of me, but we talk all the time. And she's like, man, like, I've watched you, and like, if you can do it, I can do it. And I don't know the other girl's name, Manuel Salato's wife and daughter, they both do stone, and they're not coveted enough. Like those two women, oh my God, they're machines. And there's two girls, mother and daughter.
It's funny you say that, because when I was charged with interviewing for women who are actually behind the saws, right? So I had a list of some people, one of which is a really good buddy of mine. Hector has always done work for me personally. Him and my friend Lorenzo, they ended up splitting. And when they split, Hector's wife actually runs all the saws in the shop, right? And she's incredible. And I wanted to interview her so bad.
Yeah.
And we had it all set up, you know, and at the end of the day, she ended up backing out because she just like doesn't want to be on camera. The same thing goes with I had this shop up in Northern Virginia, out in Warrenton, and shop is all Ellis company. They do all commercial work, and the whole shop is run by women. Jen is kind of like the boss mom of the building, and there are men obviously working in the building, but in the shop itself, it's all women. All the machinists are women. And I wanted to interview them so bad, you know, and I talked to Jen, and she asked around like who would be willing to come and talk about working, and nobody wanted to talk.
I think we don't want to be like the first one, or maybe bring the wrong kind of attention, because when I came out, I was actually the naked granite girl. Yeah. And I was like, maybe that's bad marketing. But you know what I was trying to do is like, this is like the naked truth. Like, this is like, you break it down. Like, you want to take your shirt off, I'm going to take my shirt off too. Like, we're equals, right? Like, and like, you know, I don't wax my edges. Like, this is the naked, this is it, right? And I was like, I got a total unwarranted response of like, you know, this, like, you know, it was the wrong kind of attention. I was like, okay, cool. So it was a good catchphrase, but it was the wrong one. And then, you know, I came back as the granite girl. And there's a lady in Texas who owns like this tile shop, and she's the granite girl. And I was like, I don't want to like, you know, skew lines or anything, take away her thing, but she doesn't actually do granite. And I was like, so in my club, like, if you can core a hole, you're a granite girl. And that's like the main thing is like, I've gotten like sales reps and other female shop owners like, come and hold this saw, we're going to core a hole and I'm going to record it. And then you're in my club, right? Like, you get a little chevron for like being in the club. And so far there's like 4 of us and that's it. And it's like a very, you know, like, I wish there was a way to market it and like they have a bigger club, and that we're not also scared to get this attention. And, you know, like I said, like, if that attention could garner just one more lady, then we would have done our job correctly. Or, you know, help the guys and the other fellow like suppliers and the other, like, the bigwigs in the industry see, like, you know, make it like a product, right? Like, these women are, yeah, that's totally normal. Like, you know, nowadays it's totally normal to have female welders. That's normal. Everybody knows that a female welder is going to do a way better job. Way better means way safer.
Yeah, we're just also, you know, detail oriented. It's like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. And we actually can lift quite a lot. And it's not about, you know, the amount of pounds that you lift. It's about the amount of pieces you can responsibly lift. And like, I was on a truck with 6 guys, and I went behind a piece, and it was 1,100-pound piece, and I was like 3 months pregnant, and I lifted it with another guy, and the guy was like, I did not expect that. I thought you could lift, but like I felt it. Like, I can feel you lift. And I was like, correct. All humans have that ability to do it. It's inside, and it's just the longevity of your career. And that's what I want to see, is like these women with a longevity of a career.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Herc. And yeah, if we could just make sure that one woman, you know, stays in her career and stays steadfast, and, you know, creates these long-term employees, or women who are going to be out there doing these speaking events and stuff like that, which I'm super happy to do that, you know.
I know. I think that should be like the goal, you know,
Yeah.
even if this goes anywhere, if anybody watches it at all, you know, or
Then we have succeeded.
then we've succeeded, and
That's right.
maybe but yeah, you should definitely have your own fucking show.
Yeah.
All right,
good.
Sam,
Thanks,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for making the time for me.
And we'll talk soon, but don't forget pictures in the
Oh
folder.
yeah. I'll give you a plethora. Hi,
Bye,
Diana.
Diana. Bye.
Hey, bunny.
I'll see you soon.
Oh, that hair. Oh, the hairdo. I birthed a hairdo. I just can't get over it. Awesome. Yeah, I will load you up, and then you make do with what it is that you want to do. But I'm here to support, and the answer is always yes.
Thanks, Saz.
You're
I'll talk to you
welcome.
soon. Have a great Saturday.
Yeah.
Bye.